Hi there and welcome to Studio SN. My name is Sara Naumann and today is part 2 of our adventures in IndigoBlu MegaFlake and Flitter glue. This is a second project that I taught at the Creative Exchanges event in the United Kingdom. And today we're going to be exploring how to use Flitter glue and MegaFlake to create a gorgeous gilded background. Metallic gilding flake is great for stamped images, and it also makes fantastic backgrounds. And this is actually one of my favorite ways to use the IndigoBlu MegaFlake because you can achieve a different look every single time. And on the front of my card, I've first painted a piece of cardstock with this beautiful emerald green and then applied the Chariots of Fire MegaFlake right on top of it and then stamped on top of that. So you've actually got 3 layers all on one background. It's super easy to do as well. So let me show you. First, I'm starting with a piece of just plain white matte cardstock, and this I'm going to paint with IndigoBlu's Emerald City Metallic paint. And a lot of people in the workshop that I taught were really intrigued by this because this metallic paint is beautiful. The colors are rich and fabulous, and the coverage is really great as well. Now, one question people had in the workshop, of course, we use the Emerald City, which is the green. Students also had the option of choosing from some other metallic shades. So this is the Cinderella. Some of them wanted to use the Ruby Slippers. So these are some of the brights, and these are the metallics. Of course, the question is then, do they come in any other finishes and colors? And the answer is yes. So there's also a Townhouse Teal. Now this is a matte paint, not the metallic, but a beautiful blue matte. There's also Wimberry Pie, which is another beautiful matte color. There is, let's see, here's the Pink Iced Gem, and then going into a Frosty Sky. Now these ones are matte and these are the metallic, and this is only a part of the selection of the paints from IndigoBlu. So in case you were like my students and you were wondering about any other colors or finishes, I think you can see there are a lot of options to choose from. But the one that I'm using for this card is the Emerald City, and I'm going to put this onto my white cardstock. Now you can go ahead and use a brush for this, of course. I'm just going to use a piece of the fat foam or cut and dry, and I'm actually just going to pick up the paint that's inside the lid here and just scuffle this on. And the coverage is actually really good with just one quick coat, so you don't need to apply a lot. This paint will last you quite a long time as well. So I'm just putting this on with this piece of fat foam, which is included in the Flitter glue starter kit. You can use a piece of cut and dry. Of course, you can also use a brush as well. So I think you can see as I move this, the shimmer and sheen of that. So let me just pop on the cap here. This is going to dry pretty quickly, and then we can start adding the MegaFlake on top. So the MegaFlake that I used for the original card here is the Chariots of Fire, which is a beautiful solid gold. Amazingly, I ran out of the solid gold because I used it for so many projects. So I thought I would swap out and use the Autumn Blaze and show you that option too. So the Autumn Blaze, of course, all of the MegaFlake comes in these little containers. And I mentioned in a previous video that it's often nice just to decant from your smaller jar into the tough box. And this just makes it a lot easier to do bigger surfaces because you can work directly over the top of the box. But this is the Autumn Blaze. You can see beautiful rich gold and copper and silver, some kind of rose bits in here as well. Just really gorgeous look. So I'm going to use the Autumn Blaze instead of the Chariots of Fire so you can see both of the looks. So my background is basically dry now, really fast drying. So the next thing I can do is go ahead and add my Flitter glue. Now I have a little ceramic plate here, and that's just holding my sticky bit of fat foam on here because this actually stays tacky for quite some time. So I want to make sure it doesn't stick to everything else. So I've got the Flitter glue. Now the Flitter glue is the adhesive to which the MegaFlake will stick. So this is a special adhesive. And I'm just going to squeeze a little bit onto the white foamy part of my fat foam and use the spatula that's included in the starter kit to work this into the foam, just so I don't have too much glopping on there. Okay, so work that on and then set aside my tray. And then I'm just going to apply this in some kind of streaky areas. Now the more coverage I want of the MegaFlake, the more Flitter glue I need to apply. So if I want a very controlled stripy look, I would just use a little bit less. Pop that onto my ceramic tile so that it doesn't stick to everything. And as I move this, I think you can see where I've got some of the streaks of that Flitter glue. Now there's no rush. Unlike embossing, I don't have to work really quickly for this, but I can just work my way over to my box and then go ahead and put some of the MegaFlake right on here, just holding this at an angle over the top. And then removing the excess just by sliding it back into that box. So it will stick, the MegaFlake is going to stick wherever I had that Flitter glue. But again, you don't need to work in a really hurried manner because that Flitter glue does stay tacky for quite some time, which is really nice. Okay, so got most of that off. And then what I'll do is just bring in a piece of scrap paper and rub off a little bit more up against a nice flat surface. And then I also have a scoochy sponge, and this is what I'll use to really get a much more refined look. So this is going to be the tool that I use to burnish off any excess. So I'll just scrape this off like so and tap it off. And you can see I've got a really beautiful metallic effect on here. And I'm able to get all of those pinks and the coppers and the golds and even some of the silver on there too. Now another tool that IndigoBlu has is something called a Whizzy eraser. And this is a really handy little tool. As I push that button, I think you can hear the sound of that whizzing eraser. So if I wanted to, I could even come in and get some other effects in here as well by removing some of that MegaFlake. So this is actually really nice if you're doing some detail work and you get an extra blob of the MegaFlake and the Flitter glue, you can just remove it with the Whizzy eraser. So then the rest of this just can be removed and put back into the box. One thing I also did with this is I added a little bit of edging onto the top and bottom. So still using my bed of fat foam, I'll just come in and add more Flitter glue onto the side, bring back in my box here, and put some more of the MegaFlake along the edge. And this gets me some really nice gilded edges quickly and easily. So it adds just kind of like inking the edge of a stamped image or stamped piece of paper. This can give you a really nice finishing touch. So then I'll just tap off any excess and try and remove it from my hands, and we're good to go. So I think you can see the effect of that. Now you could leave this as it is, or you can stamp on top of it, which is what I'm going to do. And the stamps that I'm using are also from IndigoBlu. And this is the Lemoore circles, and these are designed by Lemoore Weber. Beautiful stamp set, really, really versatile. So you have some outer images, some outline stamp, circle stamps, some innies, as well as multiple circles, and you've got some scuffy bits, and then also some alphabet, partial alphabet too. So all of these can be used in conjunction with one another. So I stamped 3 circles on the front of my background, and the tip that you're going to want, of course, is the correct ink to use. Now because this has acrylic paint and then it also has the MegaFlake, you're basically creating a non-porous surface, which means that you want to use an ink like a StazOn. This is going to be your best bet. So I'll just ink up my needs to be cleaned stamp. It's shocking, isn't it? And then I'll go ahead and stamp right on here. And I think you can see how beautifully that shows up. So I stamped that 3 times. I'll go ahead and do it on here. I think I left a little bit more space in between them. So like this. And then I wanted to fill each of those circles. So I'm going to take off this stamp and pop on the partial of that alphabet. Ink this up again with the StazOn. And you can aim for it to go right inside the circle. I kind of like it to go slightly outside, whatever you choose, like so. They just work so beautifully together. It makes it really easy. And then the last bit was a little accent piece. And this is one of the most versatile designs on that whole stamp set. And this is just kind of a scuffy effect. And so I'm going to ink this up and then just kind of stamp it randomly and get some shadows on here. Kind of a graffiti effect. So that's just going to create a little bit more of a contrast on there. So that's how easy it is to create your background. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you is the ribbon on here. Now, this ribbon started out as a plain white grosgrain ribbon, really inexpensive ribbon, and this was colored with the Cinderella metallic paint. So because this is a true fabric paint, it works, of course, on any fabric like clothing, for example, but it also works beautifully on ribbon. So I just wanted to show this bit to you too because it was such a quick and easy thing to do. Again, it's just a plain piece of white grosgrain ribbon, and I just applied one coat. I put it on with my fingers and let it dry, and then I've got something custom coordinated, and it is beautiful and really easy to do. So don't forget, you can also use this on ribbon and fabric as well because it is a true fabric paint. Then I've just added a little bit of stamping here on a small price tag, popped this main piece up onto black cardstock, tied my Cinderella pink bow down here at the bottom, and I'm ready to go. So this is how you can use IndigoBlu's metallic MegaFlake for creating wonderful backgrounds. I hope you enjoyed today's show. For more ideas and inspiration, please stop by my website at saranaumann.com. If you enjoyed today's video, I invite you to subscribe to Studio SN on YouTube, and I'll keep you updated with a new video every Wednesday. Thank you for joining me on Studio SN, and I will see you again next time.